Good evening and welcome to the historic Watertown Civic Arena, the legendary home of the Watertown Arrows. You're watching Arrow TV, the best high school sports broadcast, produced entirely by Watertown high school students and community members. We're glad to have you with us here this evening for this ESD battle between the Watertown Arrows as they host the Mitchell Kernels. It is an early season matchup with these two programs, but they've started off completely different. Mitchell opens its season tonight on the road here at the Watertown Civic Arena, while Watertown is playing its second game, coming off of an overtime defeat, 43-41 down in Brookings. I am Cam Corey, and I'm joined alongside by Jason Hemrick, this season making his Arrow TV debut.
Yeah, it's good to be here, and I appreciate you asking me to have this journey this year. I hope I can do half a job that Coach Norberg does when he's here. He's already given me a few digs.
Is he a few digs or some advice?
Kind of a challenge of who's going to be the best crew this year.
Oh,
so
okay.
We'll see how it goes.
Challenge accepted. Let's do it.
Accepted.
All right. Well, Coach Hemrick, he was a longtime coach here in the Watertown Arrow program, long time at the middle school level, and then came up and was a JV coach under Coach Mattingly for several years.
Yep, I did that for I think 3 years, and then I did actually go back down and finish at the 8th grade level with the junior and senior group. So I do have a little experience with coaching and just watching these girls. So it'll be fun to see them as they go out the next year or two.
So some of these girls you've actually coached at the middle school level?
Correct, yeah. So all the seniors and then all the juniors
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's I remember when my daughter played for you, and I remember you telling me that this group of girls is going to help them go to the state tournament, and you were right on that. That group of girls ended up going to the state tournament in 2023, yep. Which was the last time that Watertown has made the state tournament. And before that, it was 2009 was the last time they made the state tournament, and that year they won the state championship. As we look at this season, let's set the stage. Mitchell, they finished last season at 16-8 and did finish their season with a 5th place finish at the state tournament at the Monument in Rapid City. The Kernels enter this season with high expectations, and for good reason. We're going to talk about a couple of their players in Addie Seamson, just a phenomenal player for the Kernels. And they have an 8th grader. Well, actually, let's say they've got 2 8th graders on their team. One of those 8th graders is Cece Morgan. She stands at 6'2", and folks, she's already received the college interest from our in-state Division I programs of USD and SDSU. Watertown, meanwhile, they finished last season 7-13. They saw their season end in the Sodak 16 matchup down in Brandon Valley. Brandon Valley was the eventual state runner-up, and this year they start the season at the top of the South Dakota media polls. Tonight for the Arrows is about progress, growth, and learning how to finish games. As we just saw this past week in their first game against Brookings, it was deja vu all over again. Last season they lost to the Brookings Bobcats in overtime to open their season. 1 year later, they do the same thing. So learning how to finish a game is important for these Arrows, Jason.
Yes, exactly. You know, I didn't think they played terribly bad or anything like that on Friday night. You know, it's the first game. You're trying to figure out who you are a little bit. They got to overtime, and I thought, hey, here's our moment. And we just got a little fast, a little out of control, and had a few turnovers, and that just kind of, you know, ended it for us that night. So hopefully tonight the Arrows can clean those mistakes up and play just a clean game in general. That's what they'll need to do.
Mitchell is led by head coach Dave Brooks, and this team under Coach Brooks, a lot of experience. You've coached against Coach Brooks, and nice guy, but always puts together a good team.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's been around the game for a lot of years, and he's got some experience on the bench with him too, with coaching. So, you know, Mitchell is not going to beat themselves. They're going to come down. They're going to be aggressive with ball pressure. They're going to work the ball in. They're going to kick it out for some good shots. So they're going to be a team that people aren't going to want to play as the season goes, I feel.
I would agree with that. Tonight we have the cheerleaders from Mitchell also making the trip with this girls basketball team, and of course the Watertown cheerleaders. We're going to turn it over to our public address announcer here in the Watertown Civic Arena, and that is Mark Bellum for our national anthem and starting lineups.
Certified athletic trainer Faith Eulich, Aero Care, close to home. At this time, we ask you to remain standing for the national anthem. Please show proper respect to the flag by removing your hat, stand at attention with your right hand over your heart. Veterans and active duty personnel not in uniform may salute the flag. Tonight's anthem will be played on the violin by senior Sarah Lee. Magnificent. Thank you, Sarah. Let's meet the Aero cheerleaders. Morgan Fox. Taylor Buckles. Kendra Buckles. Paige Hybert. Brooklyn Remicke. Camelia Bijun. And Tilly Schlimgood. Aero cheerleading advisor is Mallory Hoffman. And now your starting lineups. First for the visiting Kernels from Mitchell. Number 4 is a 5'5" sophomore guard, London Hayek. Number 5 is a 5'4" junior guard, Mia Larson. Number 12 is a 5'6" sophomore guard, Malia Retzel. Number 32, a 5'8" sophomore forward, Addie Simpson. And number 44, 6'2" 8th grade center, Cece Morgan. Assistant coaches, Mackenzie Mertens, Christian Simpson, Wes Morgan, head coach of the Kernels, Dave Brooks.
And there you have it, Coach, the starting lineup for the Mitchell Kernels and the Watertown Arrows. But hey, how about that national anthem by Watertown High School student Sarah Lee?
Incredible. I just think it's unique, and it's just another aspect of activities that we don't always see or get to hear. So it's great that she could come out and do that.
As we look around at the stadium, once again, when you talk about high school athletics, it is the environment that is just amazing. And so come on out to the Civic Arena. We see the band for Watertown is in the student section here this evening. Students all dressed up in their holiday garb, and the Arrows start with the tip. Kinsey Russell is fouled right away. That foul is on Addie Simpson. Of course, Addie Simpson, she is the way that the Arrows, or the Kernels, will go.
Yeah, she's a solid player. She kind of does a little bit of everything for them. So to get her in foul trouble early would be beneficial for the Arrows here. So
Malia Kranz on the right perimeter. She can shoot that, overshoots it. Rebound does come down the way of the Kernels. They're going to be picked up by Remmers, gives it off to Simpson. Simpson will be at the key.
We're going to really want to make sure we are communicating, getting through those picks, because Mitchell is known for moving the ball well, and just good help right there.
Good block by Malia Kranz. Malia Kranz has got a story to tell this week as well. Malia Kranz, she was nominated by Senator Rounds to attend the Selective Service Academy of the Air Force in Colorado Springs. Talk a little bit more about that in a break.
Do you know if she's going to be doing any track if she goes that route?
I believe she is probably going to be throwing there for the Air Force. Good rebound by Kranz. Kranz had 13 rebounds in that last game with Brookings. So we see Andy Olson now gives it off to Lily Mack. Lily Mack skip pass to Remmers. Remmers in the key, out to Russell. Russell looks, thinks twice, gives it back to Mack. Back to Remmers. Remmers left-hand drive goes in, and they're going to call it travel. Looked like the Kernels 44, that is CC Morgan, got a hand on it, but Remmers picked it up in the air, came down with it, travel called. The Arrows come out in a full court, man-to-man press.
It was a good thought. I think that's just something we got to hopefully be able to do, is get past that first line of defense. And hopefully their bigs have to step up and either foul us, or we can kick it to the person driving on the baseline for a layup.
2 shots, 2 rebounds for Malia Kranz. Malia Kranz again, over and back is going to be called by the referee on Andy Olson. So 2 turnovers. Actually, that's going to be, that'll be 2 turnovers here in the early going of quarter number 1. This game is still looking for its first score. Again, this is Mitchell's first competition of the season. On the road, 2 hours north here to Watertown. Shots up.
Just a nice inside-out look. And there's going to be, I bet, later in the game, you're going to see Seisman be the person on the inside kicking it out to a shooter. So
left-hand layup does not drop for Kinsey Russell, and off of the fingertips of Andy Olson and out of bounds. Kranz picks up CC Morgan. Morgan in trouble. Shot clock, or time clock, they do get it across that 10-second line. And good defense by Kinsey Russell on the drive. He's able to stop that drive. It does go off of Simpson.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but I think, the keys tonight for Arrows are definitely got to be pesky on defense. Try not to get in foul trouble, and make sure they take away those second shots and rebound well.
Olson gives it off for the jumper by Malia Kranz, and that is something. Malia Kranz, big body down low, but she does have that touch from the outside. Good shot by Malia Kranz. She's got this game's first 2 points. Larson with the shot, rebound to Morgan. Morgan goes up, and she is going to be fouled. She's going to go to the foul line. Her first foul shots of the year. CC Morgan, just an 8th grader. She stands at 6 foot 2 inches tall, and she is the one that has some interest from those Division I college programs in South Dakota as she drains her first free throw.
Yeah, definitely a pretty good family lineage there to have in your hometown. They just seem like they just keep coming.
They do.
And they're good.
Mitchell, year in and year out, both in men's and women's basketball.
Yeah, and they're good. Well coached. You know, you're seeing the ball movement from them. This is their first game, so I'm sure there's a little bit of things to work out, but as they start getting going here, we're going to hope those shots don't go. But again, a solid team.
Another turnover for the Arrows. That's their 3rd turnover here in quarter number 1. The Arrows had over 30 turnovers in that game against Brookings. So as you talked about, Coach, something that they are looking to reduce. Obviously, it's tough to win games when you're having that many turnovers.
Yeah, you know, when you have a team that's going to try to probably push the tempo a little bit, which I think we will, you're going to have turnovers. It's just the type of turnovers I think that we saw the other night were just, you know, just a jump stop would take care of some of that so that you can freeze a defender and then have the ability to make a controlled pass. And I just saw in that overtime, we just got a little out of control, and, you know, it kind of cost us there. So.
Lily Mack at the top of the key gives it off to Jordan Remmers. Jordan looks in, gives it now, swings it to Andy Olson. Andy Olson's going to be picked.
Right there is a good example. Jump stop, you're under control. You can ball fake, maybe a backdoor cut from somebody. And
shots up by Simpson. She gets that to go for 2, and she's going to get the and 1. That foul is called on Kinsey Russell. That's going to be Kinsey Russell's first foul. And we will see Gabby Olson check in for Jordan Remmers. Gabby Olson and Andy Olson are twin sisters. They replaced the twin sisters that we had last year in senior class in Molly and Emma Hendricks. Now going to school down in Nebraska. Gabby looks in, and that is the 5th turnover here in quarter number 1. It's going to be off of Kinsey Russell on the drive by CC Morgan.
I think you'll see Gabby get a little more comfortable as this game and this season goes. You know, she plays a lot of JV, but, you know, this is a little bit new role coming up to varsity, and you got to get used to the speed, but she will.
Talk about Gabby Olson, just a phenomenal golfer. She's had, I believe she's had a hole-in-one, hasn't she?
Yeah, I can't remember. That wasn't at a state tournament, though. I know it was just out at our course out here.
That might have been it.
All these young kids do that, and I've been trying my whole life.
Shots up, no good. Rebound by Olson. Olson tries to save it and throws it right off of Mia Larson. We're going to see a couple more substitutions in. Ellie Thury will check in for the Arrows for the first time tonight. Jordan Remmers back in for the Arrows.
If they can get some drives here and maybe kick out to Gabby Olson, she's got a good 3-point shot.
A little bit of room there. She chose to give it up, gives it up to Russell. Russell has now got her drive. She drives in, stopped, gives off to Remmers. Remmers drives in, and she's going to be blocked. Simpson going to get down the court and tried to force it into Malia Reitzel. It goes out of bounds. Arrows will maintain possession. And we have our first timeout on the night. We're going to turn it over to our floor reporter of Conrad Pitkin for the keys of the game. Take it away, Conrad.
I asked both coaches before the game, Coach Brooks for Mitchell said they have to stay out of foul trouble. They're going to have to make their shots, and they have to stay out of foul trouble. For Coach Rhodey in Watertown, he said they're going to have to take care of the ball, they're going to have to play tough defense, and they're going to have to take good shots. Back to you.
And appreciate that. Conrad Pitkin, a high school student here at Watertown High School. And he is our floor reporter here on Aero TV.
He's a stat phenom too, I think. You know, he helped in football, and he just always had stats.
Yeah, he is a mainstay here on Aero TV. He can do anything behind the scenes, in front of the camera, as we just saw, and you know, just a bunch of talented individuals, and I just am thankful I get to work with them and
well, again,
get to know them.
Just kind of like the violin player, you know, another aspect that we don't always talk about, but you don't have to be a professional athlete. You can be a professional musician, or
that's right.
Or like Conrad's doing, he could get into that field someday. So.
Both Olsons took a three-point attempt during that possession. No good on both. Simpson now guarded by Jordan Remmers. Jordan Remmers, just a really good defender. Point guard for the Arrows, gives it off to Russell. Russell gets across the 10-second line. She's going to give it to Andy Olson. Andy with the left-hand dribble. Now to Remmers. Remmers looks to Gabby. Ellie Thury on that right wing, down to the top of the key where Russell's at. Remmers takes the shot, no good. Rebound Simpson. Simpson looking, pushes it up to Cece Morgan, and just overthrows her on that pass. And you could see that Coach Brooks not happy with that decision.
Again, no, you know, first game, and I don't want to make that the excuse for Mitchell, but those things are going to start happening, and it's going to put pressure on us if we can't get back and defend, because they're not going to do that all game, I don't believe.
Emmy Berglund now in for the Arrows, seeing her for the first time here in the Civic Arena in a varsity jersey. Emmy Berglund wears number 10.
So there's the unfortunate for missing that shot. And I'm not saying it was easy, but then she turns around and gets a foul. So, you know, sometimes
10-second violation. Nice defense by the Arrows, and Ellie Thury playing some great one-on-one defense, kept them behind that 10-second line for that 10-second violation. Turnover by the Kernels. Thury's gonna shoot, it's up, no good. Rebound Simpson, just waiting underneath the basket. Simpson's gonna push it. Puts it over to Hayek. Hayek shoots, in and out. Rebound Remmers. Remmers pushing it up the floor. She is guarded closely by Reitzel. And there is going to be a foul call.
Hayek's a good player. You know, just watching some film on her last year. And she's young, makes shots. She's a pesky defender, handles the ball. So just another good player that they have.
See, Lily Mack will inbound this play. Does get that into Remmers. Remmers to Thury now, swings it over to Abby Olson. Abby Olson shoots. Rebound by London Hayek. Hayek guarded by Remmers now. Goes to the right wing, comes back to top of the key. Over to the left wing to Simpson. Simpson, one dribble. Now to Maya. Left-hand dribble goes in, tried to be stopped by Berglund, but 2 points for London Hayek. And after one, the Mitchell Kernels up 6-2. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena. Cam Corey and Jason Himrick here with you on the call between this ESD battle between the Watertown Arrows and the Mitchell Kernels. Mitchell Kernels did receive votes in the first PowerPoint poll this season. They do have some high expectations, placed 5th last year in the state tournament, looking to get back there. And the journey for that starts tonight. The Arrows talking with Coach Rohde. Coach Rohde wants to get a home Sodac 16 game, and so their journey starts here tonight as well, as we see the jumper for the Kernels.
Yeah, we called the head custodian to take the lids off the rim, and so they got Mitchell's right so far.
Well, they forgot the wrong side, or the right side.
Hopefully it's both sides. Just good offense is fun to watch.
Skip pass to Malia Kranz, shots up by Remmers. That's the first Arrow bullseye for the Arrow ladies here this evening and this season. That is by Jordan Remmers. Seamson guarded by Andy Olson, top of the key, gives it off to Morgan. Morgan now to the corner. Corner shots up, no good. And a collision between Seamson and Morgan, and Morgan's going to win that collision 9 times out of 10. She won it there.
She won it there. As a shooter, it's just fun to see that first one go in. So hopefully now she can relax a little and just be ready and set up like she was. Down here, someone drove. I think Lily Mack drove, kicked it, and there it was.
Olson on the right wing. Now to Kranz. Kranz swings it to Jordan Remmers. Remmers did have that 3-point bucket last time down, and now we have a foul, and it looks like they're going to call a foul on the Arrows, and it must be a moving screen.
Yeah, she just wasn't quite set there. Looked like they run a little flex action there and come off the pick, and she just didn't get her feet stable.
It's going to be the second foul called on the senior of Kinsey Russell. Shots up by another 8th grader, and that's Nia Talley. No good, but this Kernel team is young. 2 8th graders playing on the varsity court, as we see Malia Kranz on a great cut. And she puts in 2 points.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, as a Mitchell fan, to be able to watch these girls this season night in and night out, and with the young talent they have. It's just, even as not a Mitchell person, it'll be fun to just kind of follow their careers, because they got talent and, again, good coaching. So they're going to be good for the next few years.
How do they do that there in Mitchell? We talk about that. The water.
It's the water.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well,
it's a good community.
Maybe we can get a pipeline up here to Watertown
yeah.
on the water then.
Yeah. Our water freezes. That's a
well, that's true.
Good
scrum.
hustle.
Yeah, good hustle, good scrum on the floor. Mitchell does retain possession. Drives in, a high off the glass, and a good fight then down there by Morgan and Lydia Stemwedel. Lydia Stemwedel, number 14. She is in for the first time here in the Civic Arena wearing the varsity jersey. Another young one, just a freshman.
It's fun to see these younger kids that excel get an opportunity.
There is Stemwedel, gives it off to Abby Olson. Now to Andy. Andy shoots, no good. Rebound, Morgan.
Good move. I'd rather see that than a turnover. At least you had the chance.
Tally picked up by Olson. She's going to give it off to Larson. Larson now inside to Seamson. Seamson goes up with the left hand and gets the roll and the bucket. That foul is going to be called on, was that on?
Malia.
Is that Malia?
Yeah.
So that's going to be her second foul here in
a different
this
number
game.
tonight, yeah. (11-7) in this second quarter.
Arrows wearing their home white. Gives it off to Stemwedel. Stemwedel swings it over to the left perimeter. Now back to Malia Kranz. Malia looks, decides to pass that. Now to Stemwedel. Stemwedel on the drive, and she's going to be picked. Seamson, runaway layup with the left hand, and she gets it and is going to be fouled by Andy Olson.
Definitely a senior play there. She, came down and got herself established, used her body, waited for that foul, that contact, and still able to complete the two-point play with potential for three.
Yeah, and that's an area you would hope, Andy's going to learn from, right? That in that area, maybe not the best foul.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to let it be. I mean, it's hard to not, when you're a competitor, to not try to contest it, but she's coming from behind. Even if she gets ball, it's going to look like a foul, and it just is what it is sometimes. So,
shots up by Seamson and good. Seamson now with a game lead of 11 points, and I don't think that surprises any one of us. Remmers left hand tries to go inside to Stemwedel, and it is stolen by the Kernels. Goes low. Good defense by Lily Mack.
It's a good look. Maybe just a little late, but yeah, she runs the court well.
Hayek will check back in for Mia Larson. Tally, the 8th grader, remains on the court, as does Morgan. They're going to look to Morgan. Good defense by Malia Kranz, and they have to just go to that top of the key. Now to Tally. Tally looks to Morgan. Morgan had Kranz up in the air. Maybe she had a chance to drive, but sees Morgan down low. She goes up the right hand and doesn't get the roll. Tally with the rebound. Now swings it. Shots up by Hayek. No good. Another offensive rebound for the Kernels.
Gotta find someone, ladies.
And there, Andy Olson does come down with the rebound. Picks up her dribble. And stolen by the Kernels. And then you see Tally, a collision with Lily Mack. Lily Mack goes down to the floor. Tally puts it up for 2.
A lot of contact. Don't know if that was a charge. Don't know if it was a block, but there's a lot of contact there.
Left hand's up, no good. 16-7, and so we're seeing the Kernels are pulling away from the Arrows right now.
Yeah, they're starting to find their rhythm. And I was a little worried about this, that, we were getting away with a few missed shots early. And those are going to start going.
Stemwedel and tries to go out to Mack, and it is stolen. Timeout by the Mitchell Kernels. We were talking about Malia Kranz and receiving that service nomination to the Air Force Academy, and just what an honor that is. For about 4 years, I sat on the Selective Service Academy nomination interview for then Congresswoman Kristi Noem. And I would tell you, Jason, when I sat on those interviews and these students coming in, it doesn't matter what you think about the country. They come in, they are our best, they are our brightest. They have just an outlook on life and country and duty. And it just can't be understated how privileged Malia is to receive that nomination to go and serve our country and be the future of.
Good young lady. As I used to be in the teaching career, and I got the opportunity to be around her. So yeah, she's a high character person, smart, works hard. People don't get considered for that by accident. They definitely earn it. So there's going to be a lot of people that don't get selected that deserve it. So it says a lot for her.
Malia Kranz also a two-time state champion in, I don't know if it was shot or disc, but one or the other or both. Just a strong girl and great thrower, which Watertown has had a history of some phenomenal throwers from our track and field program here, which Coach Rohde is the head coach for our track and field program as well.
Yeah, we've had some good shot and disc, like you said. We've had good pole vaulters. In the past we've had good sprinting. Kind of ebbs and flows, so hopefully we'll get a few more of those coming up again.
Tally receives the inbound, now gives it back to Hayek. Hayek with the left-hand dribble. Inside to Morgan, or Seamson. Seamson gives it back out. Shots up, and they are going to have the shot clock violation. I wasn't sure if they had called that or not.
Yeah, there was an opportunity there. The tally girl makes a backdoor cut and calls for the ball. She's got a layup, and you know, she'll learn that. I know she's probably used to, you know, when I was younger, about 100 years ago, I always liked to kind of plant myself out there, and it's easy to do that sometimes and not go to the hoop. So, but like I said, she's another name that you recognize, and I'm sure if she's a fourth as good as what her brother and how he handled himself, she's going to be a phenomenal player.
We see Lily Mack comes in, tries to get into Kinsey Russell. Now Ellie Thury is able to get it into Russell. Russell to the corner, and just a little too hot, and through Gabby Olson's hands. Be another turnover for the Arrows here in this second quarter.
Mitchell's doing a really good job of just keeping us outside and closing out and keeping us from shooting. And so we're ended up driving in and getting double teamed and having to make really tough passes, and we're not executing right now.
Morgan with the rebound. She's going to get another offensive rebound. So 2 offensive rebounds. Boxing out right now needs to be a key, because Morgan is just standing right underneath the basket and we're waiting for that ball to come down.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit about the second shots, and they're missing some shots right now, and we've got to capitalize on that, because like I said, this group they're too good to not make some of these shots, and that was another open look, and you know, she's a good shooter. She's going to make those.
They will start dropping.
Yeah.
You know, we see Mack picks that one up. We've got a 2-on-1. Mack's going to drive, and she is going to be fouled. That will send Lily Mack to the free throw line. Lily Mack, a 5'6" junior. She had 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 turnovers in that game down in Brookings.
Yeah, she made that big shot to tie it up and go to overtime.
Yeah.
Three-pointer.
I think all 9 of her points were on 3 points, 3 3-point shots down in Brookings. This one is her first point, and now her second from the free throw line. Jordan Remmers picks the pocket there. She's going to go in, and not a good decision there. She saw Gabby Olson. I think she was thinking Gabby was going to be coming into the hoop there.
Mitchell girl just got in there a little quicker and cut her off. So got to be comfortable with the ball when you pick it up. Sometimes you still, you know, in your head, you got to have that 1001, 1002, and you have some time to look for that.
Simpson from downtown.
Just a really good player. She's going to give a lot of teams trouble this year.
Simpson now with 14 points. She was an all ESD conference player last year. Shots up and bang. She called it. I saw her call that.
Yeah, we'll mark that one down.
Yep. 3 points for Gabby Olson. You said she was going to start draining them, and she did.
You know, and sometimes it takes something like that to just get you going a little bit. Like I say, hasn't been on the varsity floor a lot, so for her to make a shot, no matter how it went in, just hopefully makes her a little more relaxed and ready for the next one.
Simpson had Russell going one way, came back with a nice crossover left hand, and loses the handle. The Arrows are going to get possession. Arrows only down by 7. They're right here in this game.
Make a couple shots here, and it's like you said, we've been fortunate that Mitchell hasn't been hot yet. They've had good looks. And we've played some good defense. I don't want to
shots up off the. Thought she was going to get another one off the glass. And at half, we've got a 19-12 score. We're going to take a break here at halftime, and we'll be back. Cam Corey, Jason Hemrick, we'll be back.
I'm Gabby Olson and I'm a junior. If you ever visit my house, you have to see my really fat dog, Bogey. The person I looked up to the most is my dad, probably. When I'm not playing basketball, I like to golf. If I could take a high school class over again, it would be Algebra 2. If I could learn to play any musical instrument, I would play the piano.
Hi, I'm Andy Olson. I'm a junior. My favorite high school memory is going to Rapid last year. When I'm not playing basketball, I like to read. The person I look up to the most is probably my brother. If I had to eat one meal every day for the rest of my life, it would be probably steak. If I were a character in any movie, I would want to be Spider-Man, probably.
Hi, my name is Lily Mack and I'm a junior at Watertown High School. My favorite high school memory is when we went to Rapid for basketball and the showers weren't working. The person I look up to the most is my mom. When I'm not playing basketball, I like to read. If I could be any animal, I'd be a giraffe. And if I could be any superhero, I would be Superwoman. If I won the lottery, I would save it all and donate it.
My name is Emmy. I'm a sophomore. My favorite high school memory is probably playing softball. The person I look up to most is probably my parents. When I'm not playing basketball, I like to play softball. If I could be any animal, I would probably be an otter. If I could be any superhero, I would be Superman. If I won the lottery, I would travel around the world.
Hi, I'm Jordan Remmers and I'm a junior. My go-to meal is chicken bacon ranch. My favorite pro sports team is the UConn basketball team. My favorite TV show is Gilmore Girls. The person I look up to the most is my grandma. And when I'm not playing basketball, I like to hang out with friends and go to church. If I could travel anywhere in the world, I would go to the Bahamas.
I'm Malia Kranza, I'm a senior. The person I look up to the most is my sister Amara. When I'm not playing basketball, I like to sit around and sleep. My favorite meal to cook is ramen because I have it every day. If I were a pro wrestler, my name would be Pipsqueak. In a zombie apocalypse, the person I want on my team is Kinsey.
Hi, I'm Lydia Stemwittle. I'm a freshman. If you ever visit my house, you have to see my living room. The person I look up to most is my mom. When I'm not playing basketball, I like to hang out with my friends. If I could take a high school class over again, it would be I'm a freshman. If I could learn to play any musical instrument, I would probably do the drums.
Welcome back to the Watertown Civic Arena as the Mitchell Kernels lead the Watertown Arrows 19-12 at halftime. Some thoughts on the first half, starting with Mitchell. The first quarter they looked a little shaky, but in the second half they really settled into the game. The ball progression looked really good, and they were starting to hit their shots. Meanwhile, for Watertown, they have to start limiting their turnovers. They're giving Mitchell lots of second chances, and then offensively for the Arrows, they were turning the ball over way too much, and then they were forcing a lot of bad shots, and they were not making them. So, back to the booth.
And thank you very much, Conrad Pitkin, our floor reporter. We appreciate him and his coverage from the floor. The Watertown Arrows are down to the Mitchell Kernels 19-12. But, you know, overall, overall, Coach, this Arrow team is right here.
Yeah, they're still in this game. I mean, yeah, they had some turnovers. I just think when I watch our girls, I don't know. I don't want to say that they're not confident, but they gotta get on the court, and they just gotta believe, like, hey, we belong here. We belong with a team like Mitchell, and I say that with a lot of respect, because I do think Mitchell's one of the better teams. So, but why not? That's why you play the game. We've got 5 players. They have 5 players, and yeah, they've got some. That Morgan girl's tall. But we have to do a better job of eliminating those second shots the second half, or it's probably gonna be over. And again, take care of the ball. I think those are the 2 biggest things I'm seeing right now that can really make this game even. And then, you make a shot here or there, and all of a sudden it's tied. And you get in a game like that with a good team, and you're tied going in the 4th quarter. Maybe they tighten up a little bit. So that's what I think we really got to hope for the second half.
So from your view, those are some messages you think Coach Rohde's given his team right now?
I would think so. I mean, I don't think we've done a bad job moving the ball around. I think if we can get, keep driving, and we've had girls trying to do that, but again, and I say it and people are listening and going, that's all he says, but jump stop, freeze that defender, it gives you the opportunity. Can you make the little shot? Can you, kick it out to a 3-point shooter, or can you make a backdoor cut to someone going to the hoop? It just gives you options, and I just see that we're leaving our feet a lot trying to pass the ball, and I can tell you I wrote a book on that when I was a kid, and it doesn't work. So hopefully that we can clean those 2 areas up, and then we have a chance.
Yeah. Well, I think that Coach Rohde's probably pretty happy right now. I mean, I think he'd want some more points on the board.
Yeah.
But as far as his defense keeping Mitchell under 20, less than 10 points a quarter for a team that has the potential to really put points on the board and put them on quickly.
Absolutely.
I think they're pretty happy with the defensive output. Offensively, maybe a little too many turnovers, as you mentioned, but overall, I think they're pretty happy with where they're at. We'll see what happens when they come out in this second quarter. Or second half for this game. We talked about last year's seniors that from this Watertown Arrow basketball team that aren't here, the 2 twins replaced by the twins of Gabby and Andy Olson. But also in the house, we've got Ellie Thury's sister Emery. I saw her here in the crowd as well. And then the other 2 seniors from last year's squad is Madison Grimsrud. See her in the crowd, and then Grace Corey in the crowd as well.
Yep.
All
group.
3 of those, playing collegiate volleyball. And I don't know if you know this or not, Coach, but Madison Grimsrud helped her team go to the NAI national tournament.
Really cool.
She played as a true freshman and really took over that right side. And she's playing down in Mitchell at Dakota Wesleyan, and helped them get to that national tournament. So. She's playing at that next level, at a high level.
I always thought she was one of those kind of quiet talents that nobody necessarily pointed out and talked about a lot. She just kind of went about her business. And I think in volleyball especially, she just was sneaky good on the front there. She gets some blocks, on her own. And, she had some good players around her to, pass. And with Grace and Thury, I mean, Thury was lights out. We knew who she was every night.
Every night, yep.
Yeah, so we definitely miss a couple of those people this year on the floor, but that's life.
And that's high school.
Right?
And as you talked about, we're seeing some young players come in and get an opportunity, and seeing the Stemwell, Lydia Stemwell, come in and getting a chance and to play, and those are fun things to see.
Absolutely, and I just back up what you were talking about earlier. Arrows have done a nice job on their press, caused some problems. Got some turnovers, so that probably right there helped keep us in it. I just always think, when you work that hard, you got to finish the job by getting that rebound, and it's just it's kind of a momentum killer when you get down to the shot clock being 5 seconds and you work so hard and then you give up that second shot. And it's like, oh. So if they can clean that up, I think you're going to see a different team in the second half.
Layla Meester, she is, you know, a player that was relied on last year. She's not playing here in the early going. I see her down there in a boot.
Yeah, I know she's in a boot. I'm not sure how long she's out. Maybe you've heard.
I have not heard.
But yeah, we'll definitely need her presence. I think as the year goes, you'll see Callie Ellis get in the game a little more. She's got size. She's an athlete. She can get up and down. And I think she's got some physicality that she's not afraid to kind of mingle with.
I think
others.
that's true.
So you need that.
Yeah, she gives that little bit of attitude there that you kind of like, especially on a basketball court. And you did talk about, you know, before and off air that Malia Kranz, this is likely to be her last game.
Yeah, she's apparently going to be having some surgery. I'm not sure if it's her knee or hip or something. And so, yeah, it's going to be a big loss for the Arrows. But, you know, you can't pout about it as the rest of the team because she's not there. It's like we've said before, next person up.
That's right.
And that's all you do. You go out and play hard, and that's not the way to start out. You know, clean passes and come to her, help her out here. There you go.
As we see the start of the third quarter, Andy Olson now gives it off top of the key to Lily Mack. Remmers looks low. Looks like Kranz had position. Skip pass over to Olson. Olson down baseline. Reverse layup. No good. Rebound by Talley.
I really like that move, you know, for a reason we haven't really seen this game, and that's a ball fake that got her to the baseline. And I think that's a lost art maybe sometimes, that ball fake. Even if you don't do anything with it, just get that defender to move a little bit is good. It opens up passing lanes. So
Simpson on the left hand goes up off the glass for her 14th point here this evening. Make it 16 points for Simpson. She leads all scorers here in the Civic Arena this evening as Kranz dribbles low, goes to the corner, shots up, and no good. Rebound by Simpson.
I think if we can keep Simpson out just a little bit farther, maybe that maybe helps, you know, get her a little uncomfortable with she's in the middle there, turning around taking shots, but might not. She, you know, she's really good. So
long rebound goes to Russell. They have Kranz out in the top of the key. She dribbles in, goes up with the floater. Malia Kranz with 6 points here this evening. She leads the Arrow scorers. And the Arrow scorers, and we talked about this earlier, very balanced. You're not going to have that one player that every single night is going to be that high scorer like probably Mitchell's going to have.
Right.
They're going to be balanced scorers.
Yeah, and we're going to have to create shots for our shooters, and we got to make some of those shots to be competitive. And I think we can. You know, like I said, we've got some kids. They just got to be ready for the ball and step into the shot. So
Olsen sees Russell going down. Russell misses that layup. Rebound by Mia Larson, and it's going to be a foul called. And that is, I think, going to be on Jordan Remmers.
We might have got a jump ball there, but she stuck her hand in there at the last second. And hard to say.
2 fouls on Jordan Remmers. Make sure you stay with us for Game 2 between the boys of Mitchell and the boys of Watertown. This is a doubleheader, opening night doubleheader. Good crowd here in the Civic Arena for this doubleheader as we see Morgan with the 15-footer, and she puts that down for 2.
Smart play. Instead of dribbling into the defense, she's open. She takes the little shot, knocks it in, and that's just going to force people to run at her, and she'll ball fake next time and go to the hoop. And you know, by the time she's a senior, maybe we'll see a dunk. You never know.
Well, you never know. Yeah, I was watching some of the NCAA volleyball semifinals here, and they were talking about for their middles, they want them at 10'5", or they're not even looking at them.
Yeah,
isn't that something?
Yeah, it's amazing how many tall players there are out there, and they're athletic. You know.
Remmers shoots, good. Bullseye. Jordan Remmers. That's her second triple here this evening. Drive in, and looked like Olsen had position. 2 8th graders down low. They could play some ball.
Yes. You know, and right now I don't know how well Morgan shoots a 3. I imagine she can put them in, but when you're in high school, sometimes it's not your focus when you're the tallest player. But she definitely is a prototype for an SDSU or UST type play. You know, I know Coach Johnson down there, he loves that 6'2" lanky player that can post and shoot 3s. So she's going to get some attention, no doubt.
Andy Olson with a good cut and off the left side of the basket. Olson with 2.
So here we are, right back into it.
Yeah. 23-19 in quarter number 3, and that is the call.
You know, I've seen one thing I've noticed with Remmers tonight, or from last year, is she's doing a really good job of moving her feet, which she always did, but she's not reaching and getting those ticky-tack fouls, because there were a lot of times last year she was sitting on the bench at this point in the game, and we need her. So
that's right.
Some maturity there, definitely.
And she has put in the time in the offseason as well.
Yeah, we talked about that at break. She's another one of them that plays some basketball, AAU ball in the summer, which I'm sure, like the Morgan girl and Tally, I'm sure, and others.
Yeah, they do play, and they play in Sioux Falls. Yep. See,
get in there,
good attempt by Malia Kranz, and now you have a tie-up, and they're going to call a jump ball. Possession arrow points to the Kernels.
And there's Hayek. You know, like I said, she's stingy. She's getting in there. You know, if she was a football player, she'd be the fullback. She'd want that. I think that contact. So
we need to put our fullback in. I think Callie Ellis would be our fullback.
I think so.
Right now.
Yeah. Who knows what would happen with that? We end up with a brawl. But no, good kids. They work hard. You know, it happens in a game. You see 2 players that play hard and they get into it a little bit, and it's just competitors going at it. And
shots up by Morgan on cue. She gets the 3. You talked about it. Yep.
No, I figured that was probably the case. Again, I know it banked it in, but you know, a shooter sees that, and it's just going to get easier for him as the night goes.
And there's a shot by Lily Mack, and she gets the 3. 26-22 in quarter number 3 between the Watertown Arrows and the Mitchell Kernels. Give a shout out to Danny Schneider. Danny Schneider is saying, "Go Mitchell Kernels." Appreciate you watching Arrow TV, Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome the Mitchell fans. I think they're a great fan base. You know, I don't want to sound mean, and you know, sometimes even our home crowd can be a little stingy. You know, I've been a part of that, but they're always, I think, a positive group of people. So we welcome.
When you think of Mitchell, do you think of basketball? Is that what comes to your mind when you think of high school athletics?
Yeah, I mean, they just have such a tradition with, you know, the Morgan family, the Miller family. You know, great coaching over the years. The Corn Palace. I mean, they've been in so many big games. You know, I can remember Ryan Miller even. You know, way back in the day, and just a great shooter, and then of course his brother Mike and his other brother Jared, I think it was. So yeah, just a lot of great players that went on to college and did phenomenal things. So
well, you brought up the Corn Palace, so what's your opinion on moving the high school basketball now from the Corn Palace into their new high school gym?
It'll be an adjustment, you know, and I'd imagine they're going to still get over there to play some games. I mean, it's just kind of one of those venues that, you know, I remember getting to play in the Aberdeen Civic Arena, and you know, they don't necessarily play in that as much anymore. No. And it was such a great venue. Huron, I love that venue, and I think Watertown has a good venue as well. So, you know, it's kind of fun to see those old places, but you know, sometimes those new facilities need to come along at it once in a while. Like just like our football stadium was starting to. It was time, you know, and there was a lot of tradition there. But
yeah, I've heard both sides of the coin from some Mitchell fans, and it does sound like at the beginning stages they've got some other activities scheduled at the new gym at Mitchell, so they're going to play a couple of games at the Corn Palace.
You know, it just gives them another court, though, or 2 courts or whatever. How that I haven't seen the plan on it, but. You know, more baskets, more opportunity to get shots for your programs.
And they're going to call a offensive foul. Is that what they called there? Or?
No, I think they got shooting.
Okay, shooting foul. Okay.
Nice move, nice aggressive move. You know, if the defenders are straight up, maybe that they don't get that call. It's so hard to not lean your hand down a little bit, and that's really all it takes.
Andy Olson, first shot's up and just off the front of the rim. Andy Olson with 2 points here tonight. She does have 3 fouls.
Again, she's, you know, another player like Remmers, you know, she's going to be out there looking to get some steals, little pesky, will reach once in a while. And you're going to get called. You're going to get called once in a while. So you got to take the good with the bad on that sometimes. But
0 for 2 from the free throw line. Tight game like this, you want to get those to drop. And then we do see Morgan. CC Morgan, the 8th grader, goes off the glass and puts 2 in, 28-22, quarter number 3. Kinsey Russell on the right wing, gives it out to Ellie Thury. Ellie Thury looks low, now gives it off to Kranz, back to Olson. Olson drives in the lane, shots up, 3-pointer, a little too hard. Rebound by Kinsey Russell. Kinsey Russell, the finger roll in 4-2. Callie sees the lane. Shots up, rebound by Morgan. Reverse, no good. The fight's on and out of bounds on the Arrows.
yeah, Arrows just need to hustle back a little bit quicker there, turn and find the ball. You know, we got caught a little bit. Tally gets the ball, drives down. Now we're out of position. So just, you know, I know it's early in the season. We're out of shape maybe a little bit yet. So
Hayek inbounds that now to Morgan on the right wing. She's going to drive, sees Lally. Tally shoots, no good. And rebound by Jordan Remmers. Remmers pushing it down the court. There's Lily Mack. She's going to go. She shoots, no good. So both teams pushing it up the court right now. A lot of intensity. Over to the corner. Morgan shoots from the corner and too long, no good. Tipped up in the air and brought down by Gabby Olson. See if the Arrows can capitalize. 40 seconds remaining.
run a set here or something.
Shots up and good. Lily Mack.
And here we are, 1-point game. You know, we're hanging around. That's what we talked about. If we get to the 4th quarter and hang around, maybe Mitchell tightens up a little bit. I don't know. I mean, they're, like I said, they're well coached. They've got veteran person with the ball right now, so, and a lot of juniors with experience. You get to this point in the game, though, with a good team, you start believing, hopefully.
And they're going to get a foul on Kinsey Russell. Kinsey read it. She just didn't get into position quick enough.
But you know, a nice cut. Maybe not a bad foul. She gets that dribble down, and it's one-on-one against a 6'2" girl. So sometimes those aren't terrible.
Shots up, no good. Rebound by Olson, and comes out. And we've got a 1-point game, 28-27. I don't think anybody had this.
That was a nice quarter for the Arrows. They did a really nice job of playing defense, and they did start to rebound a little better, I thought. So yeah, we worked our way back in, and we made some shots. So
28-27 after quarter number 3, and we've got Andrea Pitkin chiming in. I don't think she's biased at all, though.
No, I don't think so. I know Andrea.
She says that the sideline reporter is awesome. Proud of you, Conrad.
Yeah.
You know, we can't agree with her more. I mean, we agree. Great job,
kid.
Conrad.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't think it comes from Dad, but don't quote me on that. I don't want to get in trouble with Paul.
Yeah, don't get in trouble.
If you don't see me next game,
I know what happened. Yeah. I might be able to figure that out. Yeah. I mean, I know I've lost my career, my old career, but I think I can figure that out.
Yeah, with your past, you're one person I don't mess with. I don't want to be investigated. So.
Oh, Darren Van Meter. Darren, I think you're down in Sioux Falls. I see you come to a lot of Arrow games when they're down there. You chiming in here tonight. Says, let's go Arrows. Finish this game like we all know you can. Appreciate you listening, Darren. I think Darren graduated, what, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah,
I think,
he was a student manager for us and
okay.
Helped with all that.
Yeah.
Great kid, was always very organized. So it's good to see his name there pop up. Well, I think we got, I think the fans are getting what they're hoping to see, and that's a good basketball game. And like I said, first game for Mitchell, they're working out a few bugs here. Probably, I don't want to sound like I think the Arrows aren't at Mitchell's level, because we have good players. We tend to shoot ourselves in the foot once in a while, but I think it was maybe a good thing to catch Mitchell in the first game a little bit before they could settle in. And here we go. Hey, that's another good-looking shot that goes in, and
that should stay with the Arrows, and it does. Lily Mack feeling it right now. Yeah. She did have 2 3-pointers there in that third quarter. She's got 8 points on the game.
Yeah, stepping into the shot really nicely there. I thought it was in.
To be deep in that front court. And
shot clock.
Got a shot clock issue. They're going to reset the clock. Get it right. They're going to have 28 seconds, it looks like, on the shot clock. Well, time goes fast. Darren chimed in, said he graduated in 2018.
Jeez. He's a pre-COVID kid, so he learned to get out of the house a little bit.
Olsen with the shot. It's good. Downtown for Andy Olsen.
Just a nice look.
Arrows with their first lead, 30-28 in this ball game, and that is out of bounds. Turnover forced by the Arrows.
Maybe what we're seeing a little bit is just that, like I said, that first game, maybe they're a little out of shape. Their defense isn't quite what it was earlier, and we're starting to get some open looks.
And some confidence. We're shooting the ball, shooting it well.
And there's no reason, like I said, there's no reason these girls shouldn't feel that way. They're good players.
Olsen looks into Mack. Mack out to Russell. Russell, left hand. She's going to be called the travel, and she had that short out there.
Basketball is such an anticipation sport, so when someone's got the ball and you're not, you got to learn, like, where should I move? Where should I cut? Is that going to be open? And, and if it's not, you can't stand and look and think. You got to move and let the next person get it over there. Yeah, Malia's done a nice job here getting Morgan out a little farther than maybe she wants to be when she pulls up. Because I know when we've had other people on her, she's gotten down there on that block, and then that's a problem for us.
Arrows pesky defense right now. And that was really good defense.
Shot. They needed that.
Good shot by London Hayek. 30-30 in quarter number 4, and a great drive by Andy Olsen, and good feed by the Arrows.
A little give and go. Do we even hear that term anymore?
You don't. No.
It's a pass and a basket guy, I guess.
I see a foul called, and is that going to be on
Looks like
Olsen? That'll take her to 4, I believe. That'll be her 4th personal foul. Andy does have 7 points in this game.
I might be just a little biased, and I'm not trying to be that way to Mitchell here, but that arm came out from the offensive player. Maybe there's an offensive foul there. I don't know, Cam.
It's okay to be a little biased. We're called Arrow TV.
Yeah.
So that's okay. A little conversation going on here between the referees. Not sure exactly what they're talking about.
I think they're determining if she can come into the game. If she had checked in already.
So Gabby Olsen will check in for Andy. Andy does have 4 personal fouls and 7 points. She'll take a breather. It's probably going to be a short one. It's in the 4th quarter.
It's tough, they have to take her out. She just knocked down that 3. She had a 2-pointer, starting to get that confidence going, and now you got to take her out because of foul trouble. But that's part of the game.
Morgan down low, guarded by Mack. Mack does a nice job keeping her away from the bucket.
She didn't reach.
Larson with the shot in the bucket. Now Mitchell back on top by 1, 33-32.
It's good luck. Just long arms out there. That's kind of that rule. You dribble at your teammate, and they're supposed to backdoor cut usually, and she did it.
Good defense again, and anticipation by Kinsey Russell. And allow the reset to happen, and timeout is called. We're going to take it as well. It's 33-32, 5:49 remaining in the 4th quarter. Back in just a moment. quarter. We've got a good one here for the home opener for the Watertown Arrows. Tally at the top of the key. Looks in now to Morgan. Morgan guarded by Kranz. Good defense and positioning by the Arrows. Gets the steal. Gabby, you've got your dribble. Gives it off to the right wing. And that will be a foul.
Our girls are doing a really nice job of settling in on the defensive end. They're playing smart, and it's really showed the second half. Yeah, we've made some shots, but we've also, you know, getting some steals. So it's been a nice half for us so far.
Mack now to Kranz. Kranz guarded by Morgan. Out to the top of the key. Remmers drives, dishes it back out. Way too long by Olsen. And that will give the possession to the Kernels. 33-32, 5:07 remaining.
Got a foul on Remmers, it looks like. Mr. Reach, her third.
That is going to be Jordan's third. Kranz also, no, Russell also with 3. Seamson shoots, and that is good. The Augustana University commit drains that one. Seamson now with 19 points on the evening. She does remain leading all scorers in this game. Kranz dribbles in, gives it off to Remmers. Now to Gabby Olsen. Gabby to...
Nice to have that player on your team that can just kind of calm the waters.
Good rebound down low by Kranz, not fouled. Misses the lay-in. Didn't go glass. She went, you know, for just the
a lot of traffic around her.
You see a nice shot into Morgan. 38-32, 4:06 remaining.
We're at that point where we don't want to get down by 8, 10 points.
Jordan Remmers with the shot, no good, and only had one person crashing the board for the Arrows on those shots. It's tough.
Senior said it's time to take over.
Yes, he did. 21 points for Addie Seamson. And we will see a timeout for the Arrows. And Coach, we just, I don't know. Reminds me of Todd Anderson when he was covering the games. I don't know that we can go there. I'm not in Todd Anderson's. You know, we're getting a comparison there. I don't know.
You know, I always thought Todd was one of the best play-by-play guys.
Bar none.
He's a hometown guy that would get a little passionate once in a while, you know, but he did such a phenomenal job. I was lucky enough when I coached, he'd interview me a few times. And
yeah, I really enjoyed listening to him years and years. And
he painted a picture.
He did.
He really did.
He did. Yeah, some of those now with the coverage and the streaming and those guys that are just radio play-by-play, that's kind of a lost art. I mean, there's still some really good ones out there, but
you know, and he was so good. Like even in football, he knew all the names of both teams, and that's kind of rare sometimes, I think. You know, I think the Arrows just really need to. This is a good test right here to find out who you are, win or lose. You know, how are you going to finish this game? What can we do to dig back into it? I think you looked a little tired there. I think this was a good timeout to catch our breath. Coach can remind them, hey, just remember who you are and what you've done to this point. Don't forget that. Stay tough. And they got Andy Olsen back in there. Hopefully she can stay on the court now. You know, with the 4 fouls, that, you know, she can't be quite as aggressive defensively, but could use some shots from her.
Well, she had some really good cuts and some points there at the end. There we have a little scrum on the ground, and we're going to have a jump ball called. Possession will go to the Kernels.
Yeah, there's Hayek, I believe, got her hand in there. You know, like I said, she's another one of them. She's another one like seems in that just does a little bit of everything. So
yeah, Hayek is just one of those feisty guards and plays with a lot of emotion and passion
and a sophomore.
Good, yeah, and a sophomore.
Yeah, so like I said, they have a future here.
So right now you have a sophomore and 2 8th graders on the court for Mitchell.
Yeah, and we got, you know, we got some good players coming up. We have a good core junior group, and we got, you know, a sophomore and a freshman that have seen some time. So these two teams can battle again, maybe this year, you know, for sure next year.
Good switch by the Arrows and Thury and Remmers, and that should be arrow ball, and it is.
Yep.
Good defense.
Yeah. Time to come down and hopefully get a basket and maybe be setting up. I don't know if we'll set up a trap or not. If we have the legs yet.
Remmers with the ball. She's going to be picked up at the 10-second line. Now gives it off to Olsen. Olsen to Kranz. Kranz looks low, drives. Now to Russell. Russell looking low and right wing to Remmers. Remmers shoots off the front of the iron. Rebound by Morgan.
That would have been a big one for us.
Talley guarded top by Russell. Now back to Talley. Over to Hayek. Hayek guarded by Andy Olsen. Morgan now at the top of the key. Goes low. And good defense by Mack. Jordan Remmers, open lane, goes in for the layup.
All right, the coach wants him up a little bit on that main basket. Try to start pressure him a little bit. You know, that token pressure that, you know, coaches will play sometimes just to work that shot clock down a little bit so they can't come down and work it around as long.
Seamson for 2. Good cut by Seamson, and Mack had position. I just don't think she saw the ball.
Again, she's such a good player, so solid, and you know, to have her in the 4th quarter to be able to calm the waters for them has really showed up.
Shots up by Mack off the front of the iron. Rebound to Seamson. Seamson's going to go to Morgan, who's down all by herself. 2 points. Now the Kernels stretch their lead 44-34. Olsen to Mack. Mack on that right perimeter. Now to the top of the key where Kranz is at. Kranz gives it off to Jordan Remmers. Kinsey Russell thought about it, now drives. Gives it off to Kranz. Kranz shoots, and that's just pretty. She has got a nice shot from that intermediate range there. Good shot by Kranz. Kranz with 8.
Coach will set up a trap, and Coach Brooks will set up a trap breaker now. So it's probably going to be a situation, if we don't get the steal, we may look to foul now. And you know, right now we only have 2. I think we have to get to 5 to get them on the line. So.
Well, now is where the coaches make their money.
Yeah, you know, truly is. You get to that last minute or 2 of the game, and a lot of strategy comes into it. How do you keep that clock from running out when you're down? And you know, we're 8-point deficit here. It's, you know, our backs are against the wall, no doubt. It's not impossible. So again, I just look at right now, like, what's our battle? How are we going to compete here? And that momentum itself can help you go to the next game. And win or lose, we've played well against a good team tonight. So again, I feel like our girls are, even though they're not young, they are young a little bit, because we haven't had as many girls on the court as maybe Mitchell's had, but they're going to grow. They're going to grow.
Yeah, they're right here. I've been
they,
impressed with them here tonight. I think
too.
they played a really good ball game, and
me too.
We're seeing Lydia Stemlettle come out with 55 seconds here. So obviously a strategy substitution here for Coach Rohde and the Arrows.
Yeah, he's looking to get a steal or a foul probably, and then Malia will come back in to come down and hopefully have an offensive play. And
they do get it into Seamson.
We can get a 10-second violation.
Over to Morgan.
She's gonna have to, there we go.
And
good try.
Just off of Russell. Get it to the half court. Seamson now will take the ball out, and we'll see Malia Kranz come back into the game. 48.6 seconds remaining. And foul by Jordan Remmers. It's going to be her 4th.
Yeah.
Cheryl watching from San Diego. I bet it's a little bit warmer out there, although it was a beautiful day here. Snow is melting. She says, go Kernels. Thanks for watching, Cheryl. Appreciate that very much.
And thanks for reminding us you have perfect weather.
Yeah.
But if you don't like the weather in South Dakota, you wait a day or two and it's...
Yeah, it'll change.
It'll come
Land
around,
of
yeah.
infinite variety.
Yeah. Wouldn't trade it, though.
And we're going to have... Not sure what they're talking about here.
I think they're just determining who actually got the foul. Looks like
Okay.
there was some question there, yes. She tried to go stealth and get away with it, maybe. I don't know.
Well, they got her.
Yeah,
they
got
marked her up on the board. Ball goes into Tally.
Get out, pressure, dead, right?
Now Simpson and Larson. Larson is going to be fouled by Kinsey Russell. That's going to be Kinsey Russell's fourth. 38 seconds remaining in this game.
You know, Lily Mack's going to have to realize she has 0 fouls right now, that she's one of them that may have to go out and get a quick one here. Leah Cran's another one, yeah.
Say Simpson, and there's Andy Olson is going to foul out. And this will bring Gabby Olson in.
She had a nice game. She played well, shot the ball well. Played some good defense here.
And shots up and good for Simpson. That's 24 points for Addie. Gets that one to go. Make it 25. Kernels now up by 10. Mack looks, she picks up her dribble. Now Remmers, right wing, bullseye for Jordan Remmers.
And this is, you know, as a coach, it's what you look for. They keep playing hard, so.
Jordan Remmers now with 11 points, and she has a team high for the Arrows. And that's a part of the game for Jordan, that she's been a good ball handler. She's been good defensively. Her offensive game is something I really am looking for her to really, you know, improve on this year.
Yeah, definitely gaining confidence, as you can see it tonight happening right in front of us, I think. Just stepping out and knowing that, you know, it's my turn to take the shot because I'm open. And, you know, sometimes you'll have a player that maybe you're like, if we want them to shoot, but you know what, you're in the flow. If you don't shoot the ball, sometimes that's the offense, and you know, I don't think you should just go out there and not look to score. I mean, basketball is supposed to be fun, right?
That's
and
right.
Scoring's fun, so I always said, let's have some fun.
That's right. I agree with that.
But this is, you know, second game where we're floating around the 40-point area, and it's going to be tough to get wins if we can't get up to the 45 to 50 range, because we're going to be pesky on defense this year, and I think we can hold teams down, but we're going to have to get some points on the board too. So, but we've had some really good offense at times tonight. So,
Arrows did score 41 points in Brookings, right now at 39. So your point, that is an area that they're going to have to get up to that 45. And really, you know, do you really set a goal of 50? I mean, is that a...
I don't know. I mean, I think in theory you kind of can talk about it. I don't know if you really go out there and, we got to get to here. You know, the game flows and you play the game as it flows, you know, and you know, sometimes the ball goes through the hoop a little more and it just, wow, that was sweet.
.2 seconds remaining, and Tally gets that one to drop. Shots up and blocked. Tally blocks Lily Mack, and off of the referee. It's able to save him. Morgan down low gets that one for 2. And that will be game. Mitchell Kernels defeat the Watertown Arrows 49-39. And we have got a double header, so we have to quickly transition to the next team coming in, and that's Sam Mooney and Coach Norberg. They'll be with you for the game between the Mitchell Kernels and our Watertown Arrow boys. But Coach, we have to decide on the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union Player of the Game, and I think we both agree. Addie Simpson, the senior, comes out, puts the points on the board, and also does it with that leadership and defense.
Absolutely, and that's going to be the case a lot this year with her getting picked at other locations for that. She is solid. She's very impressive, and her on the court just allows the rest of those players to be that much better, because you can never leave her alone, or you're going to be, you're going to see what we saw tonight. So yeah, she'll be fun to watch for the rest of the year.
Well, excellent. Addie Simpson is the Dakota Land Federal Credit Union Player of the Game. And Jason, first time on Aero TV. Appreciate you being here with me tonight. He'll be here each and every game, I think.
Like it or not.
Yeah, like it or not. I guess that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, excellent. A lot of fun here this evening between this game, and I think the Arrows showed what they can do. They're going to win some games this year.
I believe so too, and I do want to say thank you to you and the Arrow team that prepares you for this. You did a lot of the hard work tonight, and I just got to comment once in a while, so I do appreciate that.
Well, for all of us here at Aero TV, I'm Cam Corey. He's Jason Hemrick. And I want to remind you that an arrow can only be shot by pulling it backward. So when life is dragging you back with difficulties, it means it's going to launch you into something great. So just focus and keep aiming. Stay with us. Game 2 right away.